police officers being paid on your dime to make secret trips called diamond runs. It's not fiction. It was happening at the Sunport. News 13's Chris McKee investigates.
It sounds like a movie. Bags and briefcases packed with up to $1 million in jewelry. Flown into the Sunport, loaded up, and transported in secret to jewelry stores.
He called it diamond runs.
But what former Albuquerque aviation cop Eldon Martinez is describing isn't a movie.
There were a lot of shady things.
Diamond runs were real, Martinez says. They were secretive, they were dangerous, and the on-duty aviation cops who were ordered to do it made the runs on your dime when they were supposed to be protecting the Sunport.
That was one of the major reasons that I left.
After 17 years, the decorated officer chose to retire, in part because he claims he was asked to do things he says cops shouldn't do.
Almost illegal type of activities.
More than 30 officers make up the city's Aviation Police force, a standalone department serving as first responders to all airport emergencies.
There's a multi-million-dollar aircraft there, and that's a big responsibility. And, of course, the traveling public.
Their duty is solely to protect Sunport property and passengers. Yet News 13 spoke to several current and former aviation officers who say for years they were forced to take assignments on duty that felt more like private security and errand running. Diamond runs were some of them.
Gemologists or the carrier of the jewels would fly into the Sunport, and we were to escort that individual directly to the arrival level, take him throughout the city.
4 officers who feared retaliation and didn't want to go on camera tell News 13 they used Aviation Police cars while on the clock to escort jewelers to stores in Uptown and to a mall. The 50 to 60-pound bags were taken to Hellsberg Diamonds, Shelton Jewelers, and K Jewelers. But some of the runs took aviation cops more than 60 miles away from the place they were being paid to protect.
Some of the officers, especially the younger officers, would run up to Santa Fe.
Some officers tell News 13 they took the jewelry cases by themselves.
It was do this or get fired, basically. That's how officers felt.
That's because the Aviation Police chief told his officers to protect diamonds instead of the Sunport.
It was ordered by the top man.
You ready to fly?
Chief Marshal Katz has led Aviation Police for 14 years.
Have a good day now. All right, man, be safe. Okay.
He's well known and proud of his work.
I love my job. Love being a police officer, love helping people, love solving their problems.
But Katz is also controversial. The city recently suspended him for 45 days after an investigation found Katz was inappropriately using city resources. Katz admitted he used his assistant to tend to his personal business and that he sent aviation officers to friends and business associates around Albuquerque to take down police reports for them. He's fighting the punishment.
The people who know me support me 100%.
Diamond runs were not part of the city's investigation, and according to Katz, they were on the books.
Well, we were paid to provide security for a diamond broker. At some point, the union and the officers felt uncomfortable. We stopped doing it.
Through a public records request, News 13 obtained a copy of this contract. It shows back in 2010, the Aviation Department's director signed off on a deal that allowed aviation officers to work jewelry escorts for a company called Orion Security Services. Now, that deal also waived the company's liability if an officer was ever hurt on the job.
News 13 tracked down 2 years' worth of city invoices to supply jewelry escorts for Orion Security Services. These are the diamond runs. Some of the jobs started at the Sunport, but documents show others had aviation officers picking up jewelry at stores in Albuquerque and Santa Fe and carting them who knows where. The only thing written on the work order is out of town. Most of the time, the city wasn't even reimbursed for mileage either, even though officers used city cars and fuel.
I was aware of the possibility of it going off property.
Jim Hind is the head of Albuquerque's Aviation Department. He runs the Sunport, which oversees Aviation Police. Hind signed off on Katz's business deal.
Were you okay with that?
Yeah, I was okay with it.
And how so?
Again, they're providing the service, it's generating revenue.
But not much. Aviation officers transported millions of dollars worth of jewelry over the course of 2 years. The Sunport's take was about $1,800. While officers tell News 13 they didn't get any extra pay for it, Hind claims most of that was paid out as overtime. But he admits some of it may not have been.
Marshall did indicate that if we had more than enough staff here, they would do the service with on-duty officers.
Both Hind and Katz insist the program did not put the officers or the Sunport in danger.
Do you think that was in the best interest of public safety?
No, it was just a requested service that we were able to provide.
Did you ever think that it was anything that maybe officers ever felt uncomfortable with, or did they ever express that to you?
Not that I recall. I mean, they got paid for it.
But the police union disputes that officers were paid anything extra, and this letter shows the union objected to the private security business as a whole. The city put a stop to the diamond runs in late 2012, but only because they found out officers were driving out of town.
It's just not what is in their scope of work to leave that airport.
While the mayor's office says it never signed off on the program, there are no records indicating that anyone was disciplined for it, including Chief Katz.
Isn't this enough to fire somebody?
Mr. Katz is in a classified, protected civil service position. He has formal right.
The mayor's office promises accountability going forward and could restructure the Aviation Police Department.
What was happening in the past is not going to be happening in the future.
For now, those future plans appear to include Chief Katz. As for the diamond runs, those will be left to the movies once again. Chris McKee, KRQE News 13.
Chief Katz says he didn't get a dime from the diamond runs, and the money went to the Aviation Department and officers. Open the KRQE app now for a look at the city's contract with Orion Security Services, the invoices behind it, and more on the other security jobs Aviation Police work today.